Good morning, studio.
Yes, Ted calling for Omelette.
Yeah, baby, Ted Nugent! We are so excited to speak to you. We're very excited about the concert coming up in Grand Rapids.
I would be.
Styx, REO Speedwagon, and Ted Nugent, May 14th. Hey, Ted, last we spoke to you, you were sort of looking forward, but not really, to the State of the Union address. What was it like to be in those hallowed halls with so much history? And what were your thoughts on, maybe not so much the president, because we know that, but that must have been a great honor anyway.
It really was. I try to take everything as positive as possible, and there are a lot of positives out there. So you know me, Omelette, I maximize the positive. I always maximize the good before I attack the bad and the ugly. So let's celebrate the good, shall we?
Sure.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of history and a lot of spirit in those hallowed halls. And when I work with government, when I deal with government, when I do my job, my duty as a we the people American citizen with our employees in government, the flush that overcomes me is the cost of this freedom. And with all the time I spend with the heroes of the U.S. military, I mean, the Nugent family does a lot of charity work with every imaginable, wounded warrior and military charity out there. And all you have to do is salute a bunch of flag-draped coffins and take a bunch of legless Marines and armless soldiers and airmen and seamen that have given up they've sacrificed dearly, had their skin burned off. We do a lot of this, and it's very emotional. So when I work with the government, I realize the cost.
Right.
The cost in human sacrifice. So it's a very sombering, very emotional, but a very passionate mindset and spirit to the proceedings. And yes, I go in highly suspicious. I would recommend that all Americans remain highly suspicious at all times.
Sure.
Because of the runaway corruption and the abuse of power and the absurd criminality that's infesting our government right now. And here I'm speaking with my beloved birth state of Michigan. All of the above, corruption, abuse of power, and criminality is just painfully and very heartbreaking running amok in Michigan, even to this day. I mean, Coleman Young and Jennifer Granholm have left such a mess, and Mayor Kawami is finally behind bars where the punk belongs. So I'm delving into the bad and the ugly now, aren't I? So let's get back to the good. Here's the most positive thing. You know, we've hung around a little bit. If you don't have fun with me, if you're not upbeat and buoyant with me, you're an idiot.
Right.
I reek of fun and positive energy. And when I entered Washington, D.C., we landed at the airport there, and the security team, I landed in a private jet a buddy provided for me, and the security team that came out, local, regional, and federal, they had huge grins on their face. They knew it was Uncle Ted coming, and they shook my hands, and we talked about hunting, we talked about guns, and we talked about, family, and we talked about the hunting season that was just wrapping up. It was the energy was. It's like I landed at a family reunion. And then
Sure.
we go through the security of the airport, and we get in Congressman Steve Stockman's vehicle, and we drive off, and we come through all the secured gates at the Washington headquarters there, the hallowed halls of Congress, and every uniformed cop and every military guy with an M16, they just smiled, and they went out of their way. I think they broke protocol when they left their post to come over and shake my hand.
Wow, that's awesome.
It really is awesome.
Hey, Ted,
and that went on the whole time. Not a uniformed cop or a plainclothes cop with a little earpiece. The Secret Service and the U.S. Marshals and the FBI guys. I mean, it was like a Ted Nugent campfire. It was just wonderful.
I'm so glad they welcomed you that way, because I was thinking, is Ted going to be under higher scrutiny going in there? Knowing that he's opposition and knowing that he's so outspoken against the administration. So I'm glad that they treated you like a brother, as they should, because you're a great American, Ted. Ted, I want to ask you quickly: Are you recovering well from your knee surgery?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride, ups and downs. I did a lot of hobbling the last few years. Omelette, I hope everybody enjoyed my leaping from the amplifiers for 40 years. I hope everyone was adequately entertained by my leaping gnome maneuvers, my misadventures, because, boy, have I destroyed my knees. A lot of the special orthopedic surgeons have said that my knees are worse than any athlete they've ever seen.
No kidding.
I didn't know what a meniscus was until mine looked like a frappe. Really destroyed. But that's the bad and the ugly. The good is that I really researched and vetted the stem cell procedure. I had my own stem cells extracted. It's an ongoing procedure. It's quite a boon in the health industry. They say it's the greatest breakthrough in medicine and health since antibiotics. So I followed Governor Perry's advice and a lot of people that I spoke with, including Kobe Bryant and a lot of professional gods of thunder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that have really beat up their bodies through athleticism. And I got a stem cell procedure, and I'm telling you, the next morning it felt better for the first time in 4 years. Now, I did have a relapse when I had some blood work done and injected into my knees that were stem-celled, and I had a bad reaction, and it was the worst it's been in 4 years. But then the doctor drained them again, and we got another couple shots. And today, as I speak to you, I'm a dancing fool, brother. I ain't 100% yet, but even Uncle Ted at 75% is dangerous. So this is going to be the greatest tour. The boys are gearing up. Mick and Greg and Derek. We've been jamming. The songs are just on fire. This is called the Black Power Tour because we're playing all these classics from Motown and Bo Diddley and Chuck Berry and James Brown and Sam and Dave. So we're really, we've always paid honor to the black heroes that created the greatest music in the world. But this year we're actually playing a medley of their masterpieces, so God help us all, man.
We love the name of that tour, the Black Power Tour.
It's so adorable. Everything about me is just so adorable I can hardly stand myself.
Ted will be 100% by May 14th at the Van Andel Arena. Ted, well, one of the local issues here, and I'm not sure if you're up to snuff on this.
I bet I am.
I bet you are too. One of the issues is the hunting of the gray wolf. There's a lot of protests going on here in the state, and I guess they've taken them off the endangered species list, but a lot of people are, can't separate a cute, cuddly animal from the ones that we like to eat. What do you say about the gray wolf?
Well, first of all, I think the cutest animal in the world is a chicken. Have you ever held a chicken and snuggled with it and then chopped its head off, plucked it, and cooked it? I mean, give me a break. Let me give you the blunt reality, the truth. The evidence is irrefutable. I have studied this intensely. I've worked with Big Game Forever, where our efforts and our activism woke up the elected officials that the wolf is not endangered, but where they have been reintroduced, illegally, by the way, by Jamie Rappaport Clark, who is the head of U.S. Fish and Wildlife under Bill Clinton. Stop and think about this, my friends in Michigan. Jamie Rappaport Clark broke laws, allegedly, I've got proof. She broke laws, and those weren't indigenous American wolves. Those were Canadian wolves brought in illegally by the animal rights goons and brought back in at the cost of millions and millions of hunters' dollars. Those were hunters' dollars that illegally brought in non-indigenous wolves back to America, which if we did it legally, I would be for that, because the wolf is my brother. The wolf is my fellow predator.
Right, it's your logo.
Great animal. We need biodiversity. We need balanced wildlife everywhere. We want indigenous species maximized, and we want those introduced species maximized, like the wonderful Chinese ring-necked pheasant that was introduced to America from China and has become a gazillion-dollar industry for hunting and outdoor activities and game departments. So this is all documented. This is not a Ted Nugent hunch. I don't have any hunches. I have facts. The gray wolf has overpopulated in the Great Lakes region. The wolf is currently a liability. The wolf is not and has not for 25 years been endangered. Do you know that when I bring my black bears, that there are more black bears in North America today than ever in recorded history? But when I think of that stat, that's a statistic that the DNR and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will tell you. There are more black bears in North America than ever in recorded history. Yet when I bring mine back from Canada, I have to have a CITES permit, the Conference in Trade of Endangered Species. The black bear is as endangered as mosquitoes. There are more black bear, but I have to have a government form for an endangered species.
Right, and one of the great things that I've learned from you, Ted, is that although I'm a non-hunter, but I'm certainly not an anti-hunter, and I know what fuels the economy. And if you're a true lover of the wildlife and the wild and the animals and the environment, a lot of this conservation dollars come through hunters' dollars. The bulk of it comes through hunters' dollars. So I'm all for it, and we're in full support here. We're just looking for you to lead us the way and to give that insight, which you always have.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, because it is important, but I hope my fellow Michiganiacs, my Fred Bear blood brothers in the great Winterwater Wonderland, will communicate with their elected officials and Governor Schneider. Currently, right now, there are too many wolves in Michigan. They are a liability. They are destroying assets. They are destroying deer and livestock. They are a dangerous overpopulation. We need to reduce the population. We don't want to wipe them out, but we've got to manage wolves just like we manage bear, just like we manage turkeys and deer. And when you open the season on a big game animal, and I call turkeys big game, and bears and deer, then they increase. They actually stabilize,
right,
and they're optimized within the carrying capacity of their habitat. So they're not eating the deer that hunters pay unbelievable revenues. With every hunter, not only buys licenses and permits and fees and sporting goods, but they spend an incredible amount of money on gas and food and lodging and supplies and land and taxes and restaurants and motels and hotels and cabins and boat rentals. And are you kidding me? Michigan's hunting is a $2 to $3 billion a year industry.
Right.
It's one of the top revenue generators while providing the top family hours of recreation in the state of Michigan and across this nation. We should open the season on wolves immediately. There should be a bag limit of 1 to 2 wolves per hunter. There should be a quota, and once that's reached, the season should stop. That's how they do it in other states, and they're saving the elk, and they're saving the deer, and they're saving the livestock. And just to let you know how crazy it can be, there was a guy hunting out in Wyoming, and Wyoming's a hunting state, very pro-hunting. He and his buddy were hunting. He heard his buddy scream. There was a grizzly bear chewing on his buddy. He killed the grizzly bear, saved his buddy's life. His buddy had to be heliported to save his life, and they just saved his life in time because his buddy killed the grizzly bear. And then they arrested the guy for killing the grizzly bear because he didn't have a permit. As if any thoughtful, conscientious, reasonable human being thinks you need a permit to save your friend's life.
You know, speaking of, along the lines of ammunition, Ted, we were on your website, tednugent.com, which is a great, as you say, electronic campfire there on the computers. You're selling ammunition, and I wanted to ask you about ammunition. There seems to be like a new, they're not allowing the factories to produce as much ammunition as they want to make. They're limiting the amount. Is that true? Are they putting an expiration date on ammunition? And how much ammunition can people buy from the Ted Nugent website?
Well, no and no and no to most of those questions, Ahmed. I know all the manufacturers of ammo. Never in the history of ammo manufacturing. And stop and think about this. We're talking about World War II and Korea and Vietnam and Desert Storm and the War on Terror. Never in the history of ammo manufacturing have the manufacturers manufactured more ammo. They're making it 24/7, 365. They're increasing production. They're absolutely rolling it out at record volume, but it's not getting to the stores because the government is buying up all the 9, all the 40, all the 45, all the 223, and all the 308. So there's a run by we the people, letting Barack Obama and his corrupt gangsters in the White House and the anti-gunners that are infesting our government across the land. We're sending a we the people message. Don't tread on us. We're buying ammo at record numbers. Now, my ammo is the best there is, and that's really saying something because if you go up to Jay's or you go to any sporting goods store right now, the standard ammo on the shelf is the best shooting, hardest hitting, most accurate, reliable ammunition ever in the manufacturing of ammo because they've really got it down to a rocket science. They're really like ballistic mad scientists that are creating all this commercial ammunition. So you can't get bad ammo. There's some cheap imported stuff from Russia that I wouldn't use in my better guns. But we're selling all that we can make. We're increasing production all the time. Right now, my ammunition is the state-of-the-art, the hardest hitting, the most reliable and accurate stuff you'll ever load into your gun. But guys are buying it off the truck. It's hardly even making it to the shelves. But that goes for all the ammo out there, so everybody should keep their eyes open. But just like the AR-15 consumer orgy, that's starting to slow down a little bit. But the government is not controlling production, but they are buying unprecedented volumes of ammunition. And it's all Homeland Security, the Travel Security Administration. There's the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the IRS, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Forest Service, BLM. All these agencies are buying up more ammo than they ever have. And I'm not going to predict a civil war right now because I will never let that happen in this wonderful American dream. But just a word to the wise out there. The citizens of this country have more ammunition than the government does. And we also probably, at this point, have more guns than the government does.
Right.
That's how it should be.
Ted, that was my question, because I find it odd that the government would sort of like, we get preferential purchase power. And,
purchase power with our tax dollars.
And the people need to arm themselves. You know, like, let's say an electronic grid went down. People need to protect themselves and their property and protect their fuel and their water supply and their food supply. And it just kind of makes me a little nervous when I see the government stepping in. Before you can buy it, we're going to get it.
Yeah,
and there's going to be less.
That's why I love you. You just stink of logic and common sense. Thank you for that. Which is why you deserve me.
I learned it from you.
And this isn't just a Ted Nugent guess. This is a statistical truth. The citizens of America, and my friends in Michigan, my Michiganiac blood brothers, the citizens of the United States of America currently hold more firepower than any society in the history of humankind.
Wow.
More AR-15s, more ammo, more rifles and shotguns and handguns than ever in recorded history, and that's because we, the people who are smart and educated, we know what Barack Obama represents. We know that the Attorney General, the number one law enforcement agent in the United States of America, Eric Holder, is guilty of illegally running guns to Mexican gangs. You've got to be kidding me.
Wow.
How is this guy not in jail yet? And then Hillary Clinton has the audacity to scold people asking her legitimate questions of why she refused to provide security for our American citizens in some of the most dangerous places in the world, not just on the anniversary of 9/11, but after they asked for increased security over and over and over. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton denied them the security, and they're dead.
Wow. Hey, Ted, Rick Coates here. I see that you're going to be one of the keynote speakers at the NRA convention in...
Who'd have thunk, huh?
Yeah, May 5th in Houston. And your speech is Freedom is Not Free. Can you give us a quick snippet?
Well, everybody knows that. Everybody with a heart and soul and who cares realizes that every day when they wake up and pursue their American dream with these unique freedoms, that number one, you can't do this in France. In fact, you can't even do it in Illinois, or California, or Maryland, or New York, or New Jersey. Being that as it may, the cost. We started off this wonderful conversation. Again, thank you, Omelette, for having me on and allowing me to get the truth across my beloved Michigan airways.
Thank you.
Freedom is not free. All you have to do is go to a Veterans Administration hospital or check the website of all these wonderful charities where American citizens are the most generous and giving and loving people in the world. And Shemaine and I started Freedom's Angels, a military charity, years ago, because when we visited a number of military hospitals, we saw the suffering. These guys have been just blown to smithereens, man. They're burned completely. In order to heal burns, you have to stretch them out as if they're crucified. You have to stretch them out on a cross so their skin doesn't melt and retract.
My God.
And the pain is, there's no way we can grasp what the pain is. and they couldn't go outdoors in this one Brook Medical Facility in Texas because the sun was too intense for the burn victims. So Shemaine and I started Freedom's Angels, and once again, Americans give and give and give, and we got a whole bunch of donations, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. We got some wonderful Texans who operate construction companies, and we built this beautiful covered patio at the Brooks Medical Facility. And talk about bureaucratic paperwork. We had to get all kinds of, but Governor Perry here in Texas is the greatest governor in America. He gave us a hand, and we got through all the bureaucracy, and we built this beautiful patio at the medical center, so all these heroes that have been blown to smithereens can get outside but protected from the sun. And so I see it firsthand. We try to host as many of these heroes that have just sacrificed their legs and their arms and their eyeballs and their skin.
Sure.
We take them hunting, we take them shooting and barbecuing. We got a machine gun range here, and they just love that. They just come alive.
I know.
They forget the pain and the treatment and the burns, and they laugh a lot. And we eat venison backstraps around the fire. And I've seen it firsthand, so I know that my security, my rock and roll tour, my TV show, my doing an interview with Omelette and Friends in Michigan.
Thank you.
My American dream is only available to me because superior warriors sacrificed and fought evil so I could have it. So we should never forget that. And when people listen to this interview, I hope they find a good charity nearby. You can go to tednugent.com and make a donation to Freedom's Angels, but we get all the money right to the heroes and their families. And here's another one. OperationFinallyHome.org. OperationFinallyHome.org. We build custom homes for these wounded warriors at no cost. Everything is donated.
That's unbelievable. We know about that.
We've done thousands of them, man. I mean, they need the help. We're giving them the help. OperationFinallyHome.org. But yeah, so my speech, just like this interview, is to try to remind people that, yeah, you're having a great day, you're going hunting and fishing, and you're going to work, and you're providing for your family, and you got highways and a nice car to drive, and this weekend you probably have a nice barbecue with your buddies, maybe do a little shooting, do a little golf, or whatever it is you do. But you can't do it if there isn't a warrior somewhere with a rifle shooting bad guys.
That's true.
And they need all the help and deserve all the help we can give them.
Hey, Ted, we're going to definitely donate to Operation Finally Home. We're going to check out tednugent.com. We can't wait to see you in concert with Styx and REO Speedwagon May 14th at the Van Andel Arena. Ted, ever since I was a little kid, the Ted Nugent album, followed by Free For All, Cat Scratch Fever, Double Live Gonzo, State of Shock, Weekend Warriors, Penetrator, the Nugent album, the Damn Yankees years. Is there any chance you might get out there with Tommy Shaw at some point?
Well, you know, we toured with Styx last year, and one of the top tours of the world, and it's so much fun. It's stupid. My band is so good. It's just insane.
And I'm so
Styx
glad
and
Derek
REO have never been better. We light a fire into these guys' ass, man. They just rock their balls off. It's really the greatest rock tour you'll ever see. So yeah, I can't wait to get back to Michigan. And Fred Bear will be there with us. And,
nice.
Last year, Tommy and I got up, and I got up with Styx, and we played Coming of Age, the Damn Yankees masterpiece.
Nice.
So you just never know what might happen. But all I can tell you is when we get to Michigan, there will be fire.
Ted, thank you so much for your time, and we love you up here, and we can't wait each and every time we get to talk to you and see you, and God bless you. You're a fine American.
Well, God bless you, Omelette and Friends. God bless Traverse City. God bless Michigan. And go kill some wolves. It's good for you.
Ted Nugent! Thank you, Ted.
Godspeed, guys.
Bye, buddy.